about set for the Packers and the Giants. Well, one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets is wide receiver Jordy Nelson. Moments ago, he spoke with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Jordy, 6 weeks ago, your team was 2-3. You've rattled off 5 straight wins. What are the biggest reasons behind that win streak?
Just execution. Guys are doing their job better than what we did when we began. Everyone's on the same page. We're working well together and making plays.
Aaron Rodgers has so many weapons at his disposal, you among them. Randall Cobb has emerged as a guy who can do so much. What unique skill set does he bring to this offense?
Everything. We can line him up in any position. He's in the return game. He's in the backfield. So he's a very explosive player. We just want to get the ball in his hands so he can make plays for us.
Jordy, thank you.
Thank you.
And the Packers will be without wide receiver Greg Jennings tonight, who is missing his 7th straight game. And on defense, they're without a pair of Pro Bowlers, Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson. And starting corner Sam Shields is also out. As for the Giants, they'll be without wide receiver Dominic Hickson, but they do get back safety Kenny Phillips, who has missed the last 6 games, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Haven't seen him since week 4 in Philadelphia. Now, these two teams met twice last year, once regular season and then at Lambeau in the playoffs. And take a look at those numbers combined for these two guys. Very similar, each with 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. Packers won here in the regular season, 38-35, and then the Giants went to Lambeau and beat them there, went on to beat San Francisco, and went on to win the Super Bowl. David Wilson was the #1 draft choice out of Virginia Tech. He is their #2 running back, and he's been their run back guy all season long. And Mason Crosby, who's been in a slump kicking field goals lately, will kick off on this 37-degree breezy night. And the Giants winning the toss and electing to receive. So Manning with a helmet on, ready to go to work. Big game in the Meadowlands. Packers have won 5 straight. The Giants have lost 2 in a row, and off we go. 2 yards in. The rookie Wilson. And he works his way out to the 26-yard line. Let's take a look at the Giants starting offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Ahmad Bradshaw, Marshall.
Henry Hynoski, Pittsburgh.
Victor Cruz, Massachusetts.
Hakeem Nicks, North Carolina.
Martellus Bennett, Texas A&M.
William Beatty, UConn.
Kevin Booth, Cornell.
David Boss, Michigan.
Chris Snee, Boston College. Dave Deal, University of Chief-Illinois.
And that line doing a good job protecting Manning this year. He hasn't been sacked very often. Ahmad Bradshaw starts as the eye back here and follows Hynoski over the left side of the line and takes the ball out to the 30-yard line. Earlier in the season, Manning was leading them to come from behind wins, and everybody was extolling his virtues. And then over the past few games, take a look at that. The last 99 passes, no touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and completing just more than half of his passes. Second down and 7 from the 30-yard line. Short drop, and then the pass, back shoulder is caught by Hakeem Nicks, trying to get him started. Bothered by injuries, missed 3 games earlier in the season, converts here first down.
I had a chance to talk to Nicks the other day up the top of your screen there, and he is struggling. He doesn't limp, but it's only because he has one bad foot on one leg and a bad knee on the other. But he said it's really the best he's felt since the Tampa Bay game, in which he really exploded. Missed a few after that.
From the 39-yard line. With Beckham in motion to the right side. Eli in the pocket and then drop. And it's Victor Cruz right over the middle, had gotten free. And, of course, he normally gains a lot of yards after the catch, but looking upfield and just simply flat out drops it, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, right here's Cruz. And Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz got together during the bye week and had a discussion basically saying, hey, we got to get it going. Cruz dropped a touchdown pass in the last game against the Cincinnati Bengals right in his hands. And they start off right there again. That is not what they were hoping for to start this one.
Hasn't all been Manning. The other day, Tom Coughlin saying, hey, the receivers have to do their jobs too. 2nd and 10. Fake the end around, set up the screen, dump it off to Bradshaw. Beautiful hurdle move. He's inside the 30, chased from behind, and goes down at the 2-yard line. Devon House saves the touchdown. 59 yards on a beautifully designed fake end around, screen to the right side, 1st and goal.
One of the problems, you blitz those inside linebackers, and all of a sudden now you've got the screen called in behind it. There's no pursuit whatsoever, and the remarkable Ahmad Bradshaw, who hardly ever practices for the New York Giants, just comes out on game day and does things like that.
Eric Walden had a chance to make the tackle about 10 yards downfield, but couldn't. 1st and goal. Andre Brown is the running back. They fake it to him, and then the pass is too high. Would have had the touchdown. Hynoski, the fullback, going out into the flat. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
Wow, that was a big miss right there. Desmond Moses got a little bit of pressure coming off the edge here. Crawled and got his hands up, but really, that one's hard to explain.
Packers are the only team in the league that has not given up so much as a single point on the first drive of the game this year. But right now it's 2nd down and goal, and the ball is handed off. And probing his way is Andre Brown into the end zone for a touchdown. Brown's been their short yardage guy, the guy they go to deep in the opponent's territory, and that's his 8th rushing touchdown of the season.
Will Beatty had the tough block on this one, just one-on-one, no help, double team inside him. Open it up for Andre Brown. That's his 8th touchdown of the year, and all of them either 1 or 2 yards. He is a fantasy football player's dream, I guess.
And the extra point by Lawrence Tynes is good. So the screen pass to Bradshaw sets it up. That was for his 59. The Giants go 74 and take the early lead at the Meadowlands. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You can find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Hyundai, new thinking, new possibilities. By Windows 8 and by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. Oh yeah. Tailgating on this chilly night outside the Meadowlands, where we were here Thursday night, Thanksgiving night. The Patriots rocked over the Jets. And the crowd reflecting the temperatures tonight. The Giants on top 7-0 as Tynes sends it down to Randall Cobb from 2 yards in. And Cobb works his way out to the 24-yard line, where he's tackled by Tyler Sash. And let's take a look at the Green Bay starters.
Aaron Rodgers, California.
Alex Green, Hawaii.
Jordy Nelson, Kansas State.
James Jones, San Jose State.
Randall Cobb, Kentucky.
Jermichael Finley, the University of Texas.
Marshall Newhouse, TCU. Evan Dietrich Smith, Salinas High.
Jeff Saturday, the University of North Carolina. Josh Sitton, Central Florida.
TJ Lang, Eastern Michigan.
Of course, everybody recognizes Jeff Saturday, Peyton Manning's longtime center with the Colts. Starts as the running back, and he'll get it. And he picks up only a couple, and that's Kenny Phillips playing for the first time since September the 30th. The safety comes up to make the hit. Aaron Rodgers has been brilliant, beginning with the Sunday night game in Houston. 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and as he told us before that game in Texas, when they were 2-3, he said, hey, outside the sky is falling. Inside the locker room, we're just fine. And they have been. 2nd and 7 from the 26. Running back is Alex Green. And Green over the right side, and Green keeping those legs churning and taking it out close to a 1st down, where he's tackled by Linval Joseph.
A lot of tight ends in play for the Green Bay Packers. Ryan Taylor in the backfield here ends up sort of the lead fullback, and this is great news for the Green Bay Packers. If they can get some running game going, takes a lot of pressure off that offensive line with these good pass rushers.
Alternating running backs here. Starks is back in. Kuhn is the fullback. Rodgers in the pocket will dump it underneath to Kuhn, and John Kuhn, to a chorus from Packer fans here at the Meadowlands, thrust out of bounds. Let's take a look at the Giants starters.
Justin Tuck, Notre Dame.
Linval Joseph, East Carolina.
Chris Canty, Wahoo Wah. Jason Pierre-Paul,
South Florida.
Chase Blackburn, Akron.
Michael Bowling, Southern Miss.
Corey Webster, LSU.
Stevie Brown, Michigan.
Kenneth Phillips, the U.
Antrell Roll, the U.
Prince Amukamara, Nebraska.
Giant defense has given up a lot of long pass plays this season. 2nd down and 4. Off the play fake. Rodgers with time. Going deep down the sideline. Getting free is Jordy Nelson. And Jordy Nelson is gone for the touchdown. Corey Webster's been having a lot of problems with coverage, in particular of late, and right there he gets beat, and just like that, the Packers an extra point away from tying the game.
Only question I have, did he stay in bounds the whole way? A little out and up move here. Looks like it's pretty clean right there, but for Corey Webster, this has been one tough year. He has really struggled giving up some deep balls, had a couple of little nagging injuries and things that have bothered him. But Aaron Rodgers did such a great job just buying a little time in the pocket. He felt like if he could just have an extra tick of time or two that they could come up with big plays. And this one's looking like a shootout, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Terry McCauley, the referee, he's waiting for confirmation from upstairs. All scoring plays reviewed upstairs. And now McCauley signals that they want him to come over and take a look to see if indeed he stepped out of bounds. It appeared at first glance he didn't. Back in a minute. Call on the field is a touchdown. Here comes McCauley. We've seen nothing to overturn this.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Yeah, there was a question. He took one step and it looked like he may have been on the line, but in just checking this thing out on the replay, you'll see it here. He's clearly in bounds.
I'll tell you, this Jordy Nelson is turned into something. That was the only step that looked like could even be close, but nothing to overturn that. But how many big touchdown passes this guy has scored? I think only Rob Gronkowski more touchdowns over the last couple of years than what he has, and his have been the long nature variety.
6th touchdown catch of the season for him. Mason Crosby boots that one through, and so 4 minutes and 16 seconds into the game, we just got finished talking about the Giant defense and giving up those long pass plays, 30 or more yards. So last year they were near the top of the league, allowed only 15 in 16 games. This season 17 already in 10 games plus a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, and Corey Webster is a guy that's always going to get the other team's best, whoever they consider to be the other team's best receiver. But you just have to wonder about his confidence right now. This has been happening time after time this year. Prince Amukamara on the other side was generally the guy that they went after. But even Aaron Rodgers admitted to us that Corey Webster is a guy that, you know, it's game on with him now.
History of the NFL, the fewest passes to 20,000 yards. Steve Young did it with 2440. Kurt Warner with 3 more than that, and Aaron Rodgers is now the 3rd fastest in history to get to 20,000 yards.
Not too bad, huh? We started looking down the stats of Aaron Rodgers. It's like best all time of this, best all time of that. You know, quarterback average, red zone, all these different things. Pretty remarkable player.
Now the rookie David Wilson, who's been running back kickoffs all year, and Tom Coughlin is trying to get him more into the offense as we move down the stretch. Remains to be seen. From 5 yards in the end zone, Wilson brings it out to the 17-yard line, tackled by Bush. And let's take a look at the Packer D.
Ryan Pickett, Ohio State University.
B.J. Raji, BC.
Eric Walden, Middle Tennessee State.
A.J. Hart, The Ohio State University.
Brad Jones, Colorado.
Desmond Moses, Tulane University.
Tramon Williams, Louisiana Tech.
Morgan Burnett, Georgia Tech.
M.D. Jennings, Arkansas State.
Casey Hayward, Vanderbilt University.
Devon House, New Mexico State.
A lot of not too familiar names there. Of course, you're minus Matthews, you're minus Woodson, you're minus Shields. So Dom Capers has had to do a lot of mixing and matching, and they come up in a pistol formation here, that short shotgun, and the ball is then handed off to Andre Brown out to the 21-yard line. He's tackled by B.J. Raji, the nose tackle.
One of the things that the Giants felt like they had to be able to do was neutralize B.J. Raji right there. No question about it. Run and pass. He's the guy that if they don't get him stopped, they don't win this football game. They have plenty of experience now against the Green Bay Packers, and they really feel like he's the key to the whole thing now that Clay Matthews is out.
2nd and 6 from the 21. Eli stepping up and then throws a wobbly pass for Hynoski that's incomplete. Desmond Moses put the pressure on. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Tom Coughlin now in his 9th season as the Giants head coach. 2nd longest tenure, only Steve Owen coaching the Giants for more seasons, 24, Hall of Famer. And Mike McCarthy's done a masterful job at Green Bay, took over there in the 06 season, has won a Super Bowl, and has won about 2/3 of his regular season games. 3rd down, 6 from the 21. 4-man rush, and the pass is incomplete. Good coverage that time, intended for Cruz, and Casey Hayward got position on it. Hayward, a rookie out of Vanderbilt, has already picked 5 passes this season. 4th down.
This Casey Hayward is something. Already 5 interceptions on the year. Right here he is. And he understands this game. Watch him. He's going to play this route. You try and take an inside cut. He's sitting right there. Almost had interception number 6. He has been fantastic for the Green Bay Packers.
Steve Weatherford to punt. And Cobb will back up and haul it in at the 30-yard line. Looking for room. Brings it back to the 46-yard line where he's tackled by Zach Diasher. 7-7. The whole deal, you can check it out. Sunday Night Football Extra, NBCSports.com. Your own camera angles and in-game stats and a lot of good stuff. Michelle and Mike Florio are aboard every week. And tonight, the social media guest analyst, Otis Anderson, the Giant running back who was the MVP of Super Bowl 25 when the Giants beat the Buffalo Bills in Tampa. 1st and 10, Green Bay from the 46-yard line. Take the inside, handoff, and then a little pitch back to Cobb. And Cobb following his blockers and picking up the 1st down, a gain of 13. And as we talked about it at the top, Mike McCarthy said you can't get the ball in his hands enough.
What a nice play here. He's going to come around the backside and watch Jason Pierre-Paul really have him. He's got him hemmed in, and Jason Pierre-Paul is one of the great athletes in the game, but Randall Cobb is just too quick. I almost couldn't believe it when I put on the tape of the game against the Lions. He was in the backfield playing running back. He was in the slot. He was running reverses. He even ran a couple right up the middle, so they're using him everywhere.
That's 9 carries for him, and he's averaging about 14 yards per carry. And this is James Starks, who had a nice postseason run when the Packers won the Super Bowl 2 years ago against Pittsburgh. But he's following an offensive line that's minus, in particular, Chris, one big guy, the right tackle, Brian Bulaga, gone for the season.
Yeah, and they've had to reshuffle, take their guard T.J. Lang out to play right tackle, number 70. And he's really the guy that they're concerned about the most. They are going to help him early in the game to try to make sure that they don't get off to a hot start against him.
Tailback is Kuhn, who normally plays fullback, and Kuhn will take the ball to the 35-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 3 for Green Bay at that spot.
And what's really significant here is that Mike McCarthy has his running game going. I don't think the Giants can win this game if they continue to allow the Packers to run the ball. That's not their strength. Their running backs, none of them average anywhere close to 4 yards a carry. They cannot continue to allow this running game to work.
3rd and 3. 4-man rush. Rodgers gets tripped up as he takes off. Rodgers excellent when he gets out of the pocket and running with the ball, but that time Canty got just enough of the shoe to knock him down, and it's 4th down.
Well, Aaron Rodgers knew that he was going to have to buy time, especially on 3rd down. Watch him work the pocket. He's just trying to step up, but just at the last minute, it looked like Chris Canty may have tripped him up on the tail end. There's John Kuhn with the chip on Jason Pierre-Paul, and Canty with just enough.
And McCarthy opting for a 55-yard attempt from Mason Crosby, who's been in a slump. And Crosby's kick is no good. And that's asking a lot in the Meadowlands for a guy in a slump to kick a 55-yarder. The Giants get the ball at the 45. Well, Mike McCarthy opting to send Crosby in a stadium that's a little more difficult than normal to kick field goals on a cold night. Almost like sending a guy up as a pinch hitter, trying to get him to hit a home run to break out of a slump.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought that was. I think he was just trying to give him an opportunity on a long kick to take a shot, and didn't work out.
Meanwhile, the Giants now with a shorter field from the 45-yard line, and Bradshaw will take the ball to the midfield stripe, setting up a 2nd down and 5, tackled by A.J. Hawk with 7 minutes to go in the quarter.
You know, we talked a little bit about the Packers' offensive line, but the Giants' offensive line really struggled their last time out against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they've got some guys nicked up a little bit. David Boss, Chris Nee inside. David Deal struggled a bit. So they're hoping to be able to run it as well, because the Packers are one of the top pass rush teams in the NFL.
2nd down call at 4 from the 50-yard line. To the outside goes Bradshaw. And Ahmad, who doesn't practice very much because of that foot that's bothered him for years and other leg injuries, tackled by Brad Jones and a 1st down.
Well, here you're going to see on the outside Martellus Bennett, and he's working against Frank Zombo. Now, it'd be hard to imagine if Clay Matthews is out there, this block goes quite that well. It's Martellus Bennett, not that great a blocker, but that's what they're dealing with without their best player.
Matthews missing a 2nd straight game, hamstring, ball at the 42-yard line. And Eli throws, and that's incomplete, intended for Bradshaw, starting to put the pressure on him. 2nd down and 10, flag down in the secondary, all the way down to 30.
Illegal contact, defense, number 50. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
And that's A.J. Hawk, the linebacker.
You know, it's so hard when linebackers have tight ends run up on them to not give them a little shot. And A.J. Hawk right in the middle of your screen, you're going to see Bennett just come up. And this is just, you know, linebackers do that walking down the hallway. You know, they just kind of give you a shot. But in this league, you can. And sometimes when they get in their pass drops like that and somebody comes up, it's just almost instinct.
There is Matthews on the sideline. Hopes to be back next week when they take on Minnesota at home. Bradshaw again to the outside. And gets wrestled down at the 31-yard line following Bear Pasco, the tight end, around the right side for a gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
You know, there's a lot of theories flying around about Eli Manning. There's talk, did he have a tired arm and all those things. And Tom Coughlin said, hey, I asked him directly, you know, is your arm tired? But Eli did say, you know, who knows? You know, I don't know. It's week 10, the bye week, and we watched him in practice the other day. He was zipping around about as well as I'd ever seen it. Of course, it was a nice sunshiny day, so I didn't see any signs of it.
2nd and 4. There's always a theory, right?
Always, especially in New York.
Oh, yeah. Here's Bradshaw. Yeah, he's got a tired arm. He's not focused. His dog is sick. Whatever.
You know, the hurricane did blow through here. We heard a little bit of that too. But actually, you know, several of the players said that, how strange it was to really have to just deal with everyday crisis situations. No electricity on, family members needed help. And so for Eli Manning, he was trying to help all his guys the best that he could, but it was a distraction.
3rd down and 2 from the 29-yard line. And whistle for the false start.
Offense number 10. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Called on Manning to make it 3rd down and 7.
Well, they're not going to let you extend your hands and snap it and try and simulate a snap. Let's watch Eli and see if he, that little pump fake right there, they're just not going to let you do it. And not often you see it on the quarterback, but that's the foul.
Kind of thing you see guys get away with that a lot.
Yep.
But not in this case. McCauley is right there to whistle it, and it's 3rd down and 7.
And it drove him to the edge of field goal range now, too.
Very close. Eli stepping up. He's going to run with it, and Eli doesn't slide and takes a pop at the 21-yard line. Stayed on his feet, and Tramon Williams makes the tackle, but he picks up the 1st down on a gain of 13 yards.
Well, you've heard it before, all this two-man coverage, man-to-man down the field. So you see as Eli steps up, nothing there. But watch this finish. Eli thinks he's a fullback. I think the bye week's done him some good. Maybe his arm's tired, but his legs are fresh. Look at that.
Coughlin likes it. Well, Eli's got 30 pounds on Williams. The ball is at the 21-yard line with 3.5 to go. In the quarter, here's Brown, and Andre Brown, and number 2 back, and the guy who takes it into the end zone when they get deep into opposition territory, gets run out by Hawk after a gain of 5.
Remember that game he played against Carolina? It was a short week. Go down there, and you're like, okay, who's this Andre Brown guy? And he ran like an absolute monster, and he had the right to. I mean, he got cut and released by so many different guys. We talked to him soon after that. He said the hardest thing I had to do was try and keep up with my bags. They were always one step behind me.
Cut 8 times. Actually started his career as a Giant, but ruptured his Achilles as a rookie and then went everywhere before coming back. 2nd and 5 from the 16. Good play fake, and then a good defensive play as well on the other side. Tramon Williams coming in to break up the pass intended for Nix. 3rd and 5.
Throw a little bit behind. I almost think that he was expecting Akeem Nix just to sort of post up Tramon Williams here, and he ran through the hole. There was a safety coming soon afterwards. Just one of those sort of timing issues, and they really need Akeem Nix to get it going. He's had a lot of injuries this year, but without Mario Manningham, he has to get going.
3rd and 5, pressure put on, and Eli's pass is caught for a touchdown by Ruben Randall. The rookie out of LSU in the back of the end zone.
Well, you're going to get the tight end releasing up the field to hold the safety, and then just a one-on-one route over the top in that quarters coverage. Look at Eli moving around in the pocket. That's what's impressed me so far out of him tonight. He's found those little throwing lanes and delivers a strike on this one.
Got behind House and Jennings, his first career touchdown.
They have been desperate, Al, to get a 3rd receiver going. So many issues. It was going to be Dominic Hickson, but he got hurt. And if this young man, Ruben Randall, can get it going, he has the speed to make a difference.
Wearing Mario Manningham's old number 82. Mario now in San Francisco. And the Giants retake the lead, 14-7. Well, they tell me they thought their journey was coming to an end, but with all the power still in the wrong hands, just the beginning. Tomorrow, it's Revolution. Coming your way at 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central and Mountain right here on NBC. We'll cruise down the Hudson. Over here in East Rutherford, 14-7 is the score. That's Cobb back deep. Tynes kicks it in his direction. And the second-year man from Kentucky, who's been such a big part of their offense. And the running back guy takes it out to the 29-yard line. Standings, let's get you caught up on that. Chicago took care of Minnesota today. They're 8-3. So Green Bay 7-3. If they go to 8-3, they would have the tiebreak because they've already beaten Chicago once. One game remains to be played. Minnesota and then Detroit. The Giants are 6-4. Washington has moved back into the hunt right now. They and Dallas both 5-6, and the Eagles are 3-7 and play Carolina tomorrow night. Green Bay has the ball at the 28-yard line on 1st down. 32. Fake to Alex Green on the inside handoff, and then it's picked off by Corey Webster. So Webster, who was beaten for the touchdown earlier, and Rodgers is able to knock him down and save the touchdown. Corey Webster beaten by Nelson for the touchdown that tied the game, and then comes up with a big pick here.
Right here, watch him cheat in. He's got safety help over the top. He's just going to take a chance like a veteran player would. He said, I gave you one, I'm getting one back. They're trying to go these little play fakes inside, and for Aaron Rodgers, what it does, though, is it makes you take your eyes off the coverage. They did the little play fake inside, and I'm not sure that Rodgers ever picked up where Webster was, and usually that guy is not a factor out there.
They're going to look at it upstairs to see if he was contacted. It's a turnover, so it's reviewed, and all forms of it are reviewed. What will be Webster's 4th interception of the season. Was he down by contact there? Terry McCauley with the call after
The
checking it
intercepting
out.
player was down by contact at the 33-yard line. First down, New York. Please set the game clock to 2 minutes, 26 seconds. 2:26.
Very, very close as Webster, take a look again. There's contact there, foot to foot, I guess is what he's seeing upstairs.
That's what I think it was. That right foot, you can see from the other angle, his watch. There's feet right in there, if you can focus on that part. And then Randall Cobb's foot sort of lifts off the ground. I think that was enough for Terry McCauley.
Well, it's very close in so many regards, too, because the other thing is, if he's touched before he has possession, then that would not have counted as contact. But it does. He took a look at it. The ball comes back to the 33. And Manning will throw underneath. And that is caught by Nix, and he is shadowed and taken down by M.D. Jennings. Another look right here. If there's contact made before, think of Webster as a receiver. When would they call possession here?
But it's like anything else. If two guys go up for the ball and there's contact and you're going to the ground, then you're down. So if in the process of making the catch there's a collision, you go to the ground, then you're down.
Second down and 10 from the 33-yard line. And Bradshaw will take it for a gain of 9 yards. Hynoski leading the way with a block. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Sort of interesting in watching the Packers a week ago. They stayed with their base nickel look almost the entire game, and yet now, even when they've got their 7-man front in here, they're having a tough time stopping the run. There's not really that guy on the defense, especially on the edge, that you have to double team anymore without Matthews in there. So they're running right at Desmond Moses and Eric Walden on the outside.
3rd and 1. Over a minute in the quarter, and Bradshaw will not be able to penetrate as Brad Jones comes in, the linebacker. Getting to see a lot more action right now. 4th-year man out of Colorado making the stop.
B.J. Raji got it started, but then it was Brad Jones coming downhill. Here's B.J. right here, and usually he's going to stuff it up, and he does with Chris Nee, and then you see Brad Jones, a former outside linebacker converted to inside, making that play. Big stop, big turn of events there with that ball being called down and brought back.
Instead of a prospective touchdown, a 43-yard field goal attempt for Lawrence Tynes is good. And with 23 seconds left in the quarter, the Giants are on top by a score of 17-7. We talk about it a lot. It's the ebb and flow of the National Football League. How many times this season have we said, this team's the best team in the league? This team's the best team in the league. That team's the best team. I mean, as I mentioned at the top, you had even said after week 3 the Giants might be the best team in the league. You, Chris Collinsworth. And now,
you're pointing a finger at me. I saw how you did that.
I'm a historian. And now there are some people who think maybe Green Bay's the best team in the league.
But you know, it's amazing how after you've gone through 10 weeks of the season, you get a little bit of time off. You know, some of the guys that were nicked and hurt and banged up, all of a sudden they feel better. Already we're seeing a better play out of the Giants offensive line. So I think it does make a difference.
It's crazy, though, the way it goes from, and you know, you talk about it, especially with the Giants now, they're in that second half of the season. And in New York, all the Giant fans talk about, hey, we go off to great starts, but then we fade in the second half. Of course, they've also won 2 world championships in 5 seasons. So they come on when they need to come on.
Not counting them out by any means, especially the way they're playing here tonight. One more time, this is a big play, foot to foot. Is that the contact right there? Because instead of being down, on the 3-yard line, something like that, they're out there around midfield, around the 30-yard line, and cost them points.
Instead of first and goal. Randall Cobb, 27-yard average on kick returns, the league average a little over 23. And from the goal line, the number 2 draft choice last year out of Kentucky takes it back out to the 21. Under Tom Coughlin, now in his 9th season, in September and October they're great, winning almost 3/4 of their games, but that calendar flips to November and later. 438. Ironically, when he was at Jacksonville, it was kind of the opposite. A little under 500 through October, but then the Jaguars came on at the end. But again, even though the Giants have faded in the second half through the seasons, they had it when they needed it in 07 and in 2011. Running back is Alex Green. And look out! Chase Blackburn coming in on a blitz. Almost untouched. And that's the way that first quarter will end. So Rodgers has had an interception and a sack on his last 2 plays. And we'll go to the second with the score 17-7. Giants. Sunday Night Football from the Meadowlands continues after these messages. Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Aerial coverage tonight brought to you by Geico with that spectacular shot of Lower Manhattan. And the tall building is the new Freedom Tower, One World Trade Center, still under construction. And about 10 miles away from that site is this site. And we go back to the sack.
Well, they're doing this slide protection. These guys going that way, Newhouse going that way, but it opens a gap right there for the blitzing linebacker coming through. They're sliding that way because they're trying to help TJ Lang. But I think already Perry Fuel, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, has it figured out.
2nd and 18, and Rodgers is going to take off and slide to a stop up at the 18-yard line.
Well, we're seeing a lot of different looks from the Giants tonight. A little chance for self-study here. They've got Justin Tuck, who's standing up and is actually going to drop back underneath the tight end Jermichael Finley, who is one of their focal points in this one.
Gain to 5. There is Perry Fuel, the Giants defensive coordinator, as the Packers come up on a 3rd and 13. 5 guys into the pattern. Catch is made, but Antrell Roll makes sure that Randall Cobb goes no farther than the 23-yard line, and in comes the punt team.
I tell you, I think this defense is different when they get Antrell Roll back down around the line of scrimmage. By getting Kenny Phillips back from the injury, now he and Stevie Brown can stay back, and Roll can be that playmaker up around the line of scrimmage. And he's just good at it. He was such a big key in some of their Super Bowl run.
Ruben Randall back to accept the Tim Mastay punt, which is a short, low kick. It takes a nice bounce for the Giants going sideways and will roll to a stop at about the 38-yard line. It's a 36-yard kick. Packers last year were last in the league in defense despite having a great year. So what did they do in the draft? They went out and their first 6 picks were all on the defensive side, including Nick Perry, who is now hurt. Hayward has those 5 interceptions. So a lot of new names for Dom Capers' group. And there is Ted Thompson, who doesn't get a lot of publicity, not that noted around the league, except inside the league. They know him pretty well, and he's done a great job just restocking this roster year after year.
Because he doesn't look for publicity.
No, he doesn't. And Manning going deep, and it's broken up. Hakeem Nicks was out in front, but House was back there covering on the play along with Morgan Burnett. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And we've talked about Nix, and he has been their guy that has come up with big plays like this in the past. You give him a chance to go up. He's a big, strong, physical guy. That time, good play in the secondary. And for the Green Bay Packers, to me, that has been a huge turnaround for this team. They gave up so many big plays a season ago. Of course, the injury to Nick Collins had a lot to do with it.
Now Andre Brown will go next to nowhere, and we go to Michelle.
Packers starting defensive end C.J. Wilson went back to the locker room. He's got a knee injury. He's questionable. He suffered it on the Giants' last drive. So look for a couple of people to fill in. Mike Neal and Jarrell Worthy are going to fill in on that spot.
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, we saw Wilson look like he was in some agony before. And, of course, it's a defense that is missing Matthews, is missing Woodson, is missing Sam Shields.
That Mike Neal is probably their best pass rusher overall. Just pure athleticism. Number 96, Mike Neal, can play.
Manning on 3rd and 9. To the outside for Nixon. He catches it for a first down before he's run out of bounds by Morgan Burnett.
Well, Eli's going to do this all day if he gets this kind of protection, because right now the Green Bay Packers aren't getting there. This is a huge step up for this Giants offensive line over what they did. Just simple underneath coverage against a 2-deep safety. And if you have time to make those throws, and it was one of the things that Eli was talking about, said there are holes in the Green Bay Packers defense. There are a lot of young guys back there playing, but we have to be able to protect it, and so far they have.
Gain of 25. Nix has caught 3 balls tonight. Manning has completed 5 out of 11. Good protection again. And that pass is caught, and spinning away is Bennett, the ex-Cowboy, to pick up a first down. Martellus Bennett for years in Dallas, the number 2 tight end, which meant he didn't see a lot of reps with the first unit. Jason Witten took all of those, but came over here and he's done a decent job.
Yeah, he has. I was asking some of the coaches about him here lately, though. I said, how's Martellus Bennett been doing? He goes, I got a lot of this. One of those kind of answers. So if he can pick it up, it's going to make it easier for those guys on the outside.
That's why I left it at decent. Even though it's career highs, I figure we've seen a lot more playing time. From the 23-yard line, Bradshaw skirting to the outside, and that's a gain of 11. Burnett making the tackle. So the Giants getting good productivity in the running game tonight. They've already rushed for 68 yards.
Watch this cut. I mean, this is just fantastic. In the hole now, it's just straight sideways as Bear Pasco got a chance to finish that block. But for a guy that, it's just amazing if you've played in the league for any length of time to think about, he missed 2 days of practiced minimally on Friday, and he comes out and he looks like an all-pro here tonight.
Giants averaging over 5 yards per tote on the ground. They have Brown in the game now. They give it to him, and Brown backs his way inside the 10-yard line.
Well, it looks like the Packers are now staying with that nickel defense that they played so much a week ago, but a little bit different. Now, no, I take that back. That's not their nickel. That's their base defense. So now they're struggling to try and stop this this running game of the Giants, even in their base, which I think they almost assumed they could with those 2 big guys in there, Ryan Pickett and B.J. Roger.
Giants 26 plays and good balance. 14 runs, 12 passes. 2nd and 6. And throwing a fade, and it's broken up. Intended for Nixon, broken up by Devon House. 3rd down and 6 upcoming.
And the first thing you have to do when you play against the New York Giants is take away their slot receiver in Victor Cruz, which is going to open things up one-on-one on the outside for Akeem Nicks. And I tell you, we were watching him, Al, in pregame warm-up, and he's just not the same still. He won't talk about it. He's not going to tell you he's hurting, but you could tell watching him warm up. Boy, it took a long time to get to where he could run full speed.
Broke his foot in the offseason surgery. Missed 3 games earlier in the season. 3rd and 6, and Manning throws, and it's caught for the touchdown by Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz able to do the salsa at MetLife Stadium as he takes it into the end zone on his first catch of the night.
They've got Victor Cruz double covered. They've got the safety inside, MD Jennings. They had the corner on the outside, and he still beat it. And this is what Kevin Gilbride was really hoping for. He said, we have to get Victor Cruz going again. I mean, he has been such a dynamic weapon, and it just hasn't been there this year.
Extra point by Tynes, 199 career touchdown passes from Manning, tying him with Phil Simms for the franchise record. Eli's thrown 2 tonight, and the Giants are up by 17. And over in the Meadowlands, it's 24-7. Cruz with that touchdown catch. Cobb is back to run the kickback from a yard in. And Cobb runs into a bunch of blue shirts out at about the 28-yard line. So Rodgers with the hill to climb right now. Down by 17 with 9.5 to go in the opening half. Two of the iconic franchises in the National Football League, and the names as you go all the way back. Bart Starr leading the Packers to a win in Super Bowl I, the great Emlyn Tunnell, and Lombardi, of course, with connections to both sides. Our old partner Frank Gifford, to White and Taylor, and there's Eli putting his name into the Giants record book alongside Phil Simms right now. 199 career touchdown passes. So he hadn't thrown one in 3 games, and tonight 2 in the first 20 minutes. Now the Packers come up with 3 guys in the backfield on first down, and starting on the ground, going nowhere, is Alex Green. And you wonder when the Packers might start to try to pick the pace up here.
Well, hard to pick the pace up when Justin Tuck keeps making plays like this. Going to go inside here, TJ Lang, and then still have the quickness to get back out and around. This is now a Giant-style football game. You've got the Packers with a reshuffled offensive line and some of the best pass rushers in the league going to be coming after Aaron Rodgers at this point.
2nd and 10. And on the ground again. This is Green going to the outside, and he can't get away from Chase Blackburn. So last year, Blackburn is thinking about teaching school. Doesn't have a job. Giants had all those injuries at linebacker. So they worked him out, signed him, and then, of course, before it's all said and done, intercepts a pass in the Super Bowl, has a Super Bowl ring. Wasn't sure he'd come back here this year, but here he is again, playing a big part for Tom Coughlin.
It's the first name that Tom Coughlin mentioned when you asked him who's playing well. Chase Blackburn.
Heart and soul, he said, of the defense. 3rd and 9 from the 28. Who moved first?
Well, Antrell Rolfe jumped up there like he was blitzing.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
I think he got his own guy a little excited. They definitely had some kind of little game going, and Jason Pierre-Paul just flinched. You're going to see him go there, and there's Jason Pierre-Paul there.
Heard footsteps.
Yeah. Sure helps, though, when you're 3rd and 3 or 4 here now.
3rd and 4. You want to respot the ball here back at the 32, not the 33-yard line.
And you see John Kuhn standing off to the right of Aaron Rodgers. He is the fullback. He is going to help against Jason Pierre-Paul on this side. Trying to give TJ Lang some help.
And they bunch 3 receivers to the left. They go 3 by 1, and they dump it off underneath, and that's Kuhn. And Kuhn with a big gainer into Giant territory. Phillips finally knocks him out of bounds at the 38-yard line. So he was flanking him, then they sent him out over the middle, and it's a big gain of 32 yards.
Yeah, a little trick there, wasn't it? So now they're going to bring him out here. They're expecting him to help over on the right-hand side. He's been doing it the whole game. Now they slip him through the other way, and there's nobody there to guard him. You don't spend a lot of time game planning passes to the fullback. Cleverly done that time by Mike McCarthy.
Longest gain of Kuhn's career, 32 yards, either a run or a catch. And now they give the ball to Alex Green. Flag is down. Green second year back out of the University of Hawaii.
Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Evan Dietrich Smith, the left guard.
And he's kind of their sixth offensive lineman, and the guy that they said, really, we feel pretty good about him being in there at the left guard position, but you can't, when you're down and you're playing against an offense that's hot, you can't just give things away here, and so now you're backed up and you've got to go to work.
Momentum killer after a 32-yard gain on a third down conversion. James Starks is now in the backfield on 1st and 20. And we'll give it to Starks. He'll plow ahead to the 43. We talked about, Chris, the interception by Blackburn in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was such a great play. But the interesting thing was that the crowd noise actually got them to hesitate here. They heard a crowd noise, thought that Tom Brady was sacked. It's like, oh no. Gronkowski stopped, Blackburn stopped, and they heard the crowd yell again. And so Blackburn said, I knew I had to take off, and he was beat. He came up with that play and said, so what'd you do with the football? He said, my kid plays with it.
2nd and 17.
Ready to go.
Take the inside handoff, buying time. Rodgers flushed out. And he'll run with it and slide to a stop at the 36-yard line. Aaron Rodgers, one of the more nimble quarterbacks in the league. He does that a lot. Takes off for a good game.
Going to see a lot of jamming of these receivers. That time Corey Webster got a good chunk of Randall Cobb on the outside. And their feeling was if they could beat up these receivers at the line of scrimmage and make Aaron Rodgers pull that ball down, they'd have the advantage. Worked perfectly there.
3rd down and 11.
Probably need at least 5 to get a decent shot at a field goal.
So 4 wide here. Rodgers, this time protection very good, but the secondary also doing its work. Flag is down, pass is incomplete.
Oh boy.
Holding defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Webster.
You know, you can do a lot of things in this league, but when you grab, it's the easiest thing in the world to see. And for Corey Webster here, Jordy Nelson's going to go by him. He's going to grab that backside shoulder and turn Nelson. The official got a good look at the name Nelson on the backside, so he knew something was up. Pretty strong protection up front for those guys, but that was huge on 3rd down and 11.
Just left the interior 5 in there, and they did their job. Ball the 32 on 1st down. Cobb sets up slot left. And Rodgers able to sprint away and then throw, and it's caught on the run by Cobb. And he'll have a 1st down. They'll spot the ball at the 20-yard line. Jason Pierre-Paul got loose, but Rodgers able to sprint away.
Yeah, and Chase Blackburn knew exactly what was coming. He just couldn't catch him. He's going to come across here, and you'll see Chase Blackburn pick him up. But, you know, there's some things you can't do. That's not Gronkowski's chasing anymore. That's Randall Cobb. And Rodgers again staying alive in what he calls non-rhythmic throws. He says, I'll have to make a bunch of them against this pass rush.
Under 5 to go in the half. Giants up by 17. On 1st down from the 20. To the outside, it is juggled and dropped. That's Jermichael Finley. He's had a lot to say all season long about not getting enough passes, not getting enough targeted passes from Rodgers. That's one of the reasons right there.
Well, as a former receiver, I know all too well that most of your time around quarterbacks should be spent sucking up. And he has not mastered the concept.
To the contrary. 2nd and 10. Rodgers trying to reposition his receivers and now just decides to take a timeout. 24-7, New York. Packers opened the season against San Francisco and lost. 2 touchdowns by Rodgers. 1 the next week. Then the Hail Mary game at Seattle, he had none. Then he had 4 against New Orleans. He had 3 at Indy, 6 on the Sunday nighter in Houston. And that's when they really got rolling. Those last 5 games, all wins. And Aaron Rodgers has been terrific. And tonight, though, he's got to lead them up the mountain because they're down by 17. He's thrown only 7 passes tonight. Completed 5, 1 for the touchdown to Nelson, and now it's 2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Rolling left, throwing, and that's caught by Finley. And Finley will gain 9, reaches across the line, but they'll spot the ball a yard shy. And Mukamara is there to stop him. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Wow. Jermichael Finley made Mukamara pay a heavy price at the tail end of that. Nice bootleg play, gets Finley out on the edge. He sells it well. But watch Prince Mukamara here after Roll misses the tackle.
Finley at 6'5" and 247. And Mukamara at 6 feet and 205. 3rd and 1. Alex Green is the back. Kuhn offset. Now they go 3 backs. And they give the ball to Green, and does Green get it with that second effort? Kenny Phillips comes up there to make the tackle. Clock down under 4 minutes. It's either a 1st down or 4th and inches.
Kenny Phillips looked like he had him in the backfield, but Green just spun his way out of it.
And with a naked eye, I think they're a little short. Not
Phillips
betting on it, though.
Right there. Across the line of scrimmage, makes a big hit. And I tell you, I thought the mark looked like it was a little short if they end up short. Yeah, no, I take that back. I thought it was across the line, but I don't think he was.
Yeah. So there you have it. Now, if you're Mike McCarthy, what do you want to do? You want to go for 3? He's going to send in his field goal unit.
Wow. You know, for the kicker that has struggled.
Well, they've had some fakes, but surprised they're not going for it on 4th down in a 3-possession game. He's trying to turn it into a 2-possession game.
Yeah, but you haven't really shown that many signs on defense of stopping them. I think I'd have been going for it there too.
Yep. 28-yard field goal attempt, if indeed they do attempt it. Mastay has already thrown a touchdown pass out of a fake field goal formation this season. And they do boot it, and the kick is good. So they bog down, don't get the 1st down when they really needed it, and it's 24-10 Giants. Through the creation of youth fitness zones across the country, NFL Play 60 has improved the health of millions of American children. You can visit NFLRush.com and learn how NFL Play 60 could come to your community. Lincoln Center in Manhattan. Over to MetLife Stadium. Been busy over here. Thanksgiving night, Jets, Patriots. And then tonight, Giants, Packers. 24-10. The Giants are on top with Crosby to send it down to the rookie Wilson from the 4. And Wilson brings it back out to the 26-yard line, tackled there by M.D. Jennings. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. By Samsung Galaxy Note 2, the next big thing is here. By Lexus, this is the pursuit of perfection. And by Citizen Echo Drive, fueled by light, never needs a battery, unstoppable. Speaking of batteries, the New York Trains and Museum's Holiday Train Show on display at Grand Central Station.
That little boy looked like he might spend the night right there watching that train.
Yeah, you had trains as a kid, didn't you?
Yeah, I loved it.
From the 27 on 1st down. Manning. And he'll go down. A flag is thrown as Desmond Moses, the rookie from Tulane, free agent. With the injuries to the Packers defense, he's getting to see more and more action.
Well, that was a hold sack. He got held and got the sack.
Holding, offense number 65. Penalties declined. Second down.
Second down and 14. Let's check in with Michelle.
Well, you may have noticed Sean Locklear is on the field for the Giants. That's because starting right tackle David Deal is questionable with a burner. He's back in the locker room. They were working on his neck and shoulders, massaging it. He was out on the bench for a while, but finally went back to the locker room, and Locklear is in, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. There is a look at him. Deal on the sideline. Locklear, very experienced, longtime Seattle Seahawk, 9th year in the league. At the right tackle position, second down and call it 16 now, and the handoff goes to Brown through the middle, and Brown gets taken down by Hawk for a gain of about 11.
Yep, a little bit of that nickel look there, but anytime you get just 6 guys inside and you've got a tight end over here and just 6 over on this side, you're just going to take your shot. They just don't have enough people up there to be able to stop it, so now you end up with a 3rd and short. And the good news, I don't say good news, but Sean Locklear coming in the game, he's probably a little better pass protector. David Deal probably a little better run player. So maybe the Giants start throwing it a bit more here.
3rd and 5. Big stop here for the Packer defense, down by 14 points to the outside. It goes to the Ahmad Bradshaw, and then Devon House makes sure that he can't escape, and the Giants will be forced to punt.
A nice job. It looked like it might have been some man coverage on the outside, but Devon House, what a solid tackle that was. Now they're going to get the ball back again.
Eli barking at himself. 2-minute warning with the Giants punt upcoming. Randall Cobb has returned 2 punts for touchdowns this season, and make it in his 2 seasons here. And we saw him in his debut game last year with a 108-yard kickoff return. And he'll have a chance to run one back as Weatherford will send a line drive kick his way that will bounce at the 20, be fielded by Cobb, and he brings it back to the 24-yard line. Coming up will be the Toyota halftime show. Colin Kaepernick with the 49ers on the road. They beat the Saints. The star-crossed Chargers give up a 4th and 29. That keys a Ravens overtime win. Browns beat the Steelers. Pittsburgh turns it over 8 times. Bob Costas, Heinz Ward look back at the first half of this one coming up on the Toyota halftime show.
Yeah, this is where the Giants defensively have struggled the last 2 minutes of either half, allowing 47 points. That's 3rd most in the NFL. They need to stop here.
From the 24-yard line. Blitz coming. Rodgers able to get away from it, and outside the pocket throws incomplete. 2nd and 10.
I'll tell you, Antrell Roll, this is a different looking defense to me already. Now with what they're doing on the back end, they're taking away some of the easy throws of Aaron Rodgers, and Antrell Roll is, every time Randall Cobb comes off, he's just getting a little action out here. He's getting distracted with almost everyone, and the New York Giants pass rush can get there then if they can just slow him down a bit at the line.
Rushing 4, pass to the outside. Cobb has it. Cobb will be taken down in for a gain of 15 yards by Kenny Phillips. Packers have 2 timeouts left as we tick down to a minute and a half.
And that time Antrell Roll jumped inside for some reason and left Cobb wide open. I think the tight end released inside, and it was Roll taking the bait.
Rodgers in no hurry here.
Ready, go.
Down to 110 on the snap. Stepping up. Look out, Bulls. Coming loose. Umanura was able to create the fumble, and Pierre Paul winds up with the recovery. Aaron Rodgers stripped.
One of the problems, you're trying to help somebody on the right-hand side. That means Marshall Newhouse has to go one-on-one against Osi Umanura, and that is too easy. When you have flaws on one side, you create challenges on the other. Osi Umanura took full advantage that time. It is going to be an issue for the Green Bay Packers for the rest of the year. We've seen it earlier, a game in Seattle, but pass protection. Pass protection is going to decide their fate.
10th year in the league for Osi, 31 sack fumbles. They review it upstairs as they do all turnovers. Verified, and now Eli with a chance to add to the 14-point lead. Good pocket for him. Pass is caught inside the 20. This is Randall, and Randall's able to get away and get that first down. Randall like a spinning top on the play, going back and then coming forward again, and they'll spot the ball at the 13-yard line.
No other way to say it. Ruben Randall was a disappointing pick for the first half of this season, but lately he's starting to pick it up. You're starting to see some flashes of some of these kind of plays, just that kind of heart and fight that have been the hallmark of Giants receivers over the years, and boy, did he get a nice little response from the crowd after that one. That's how you get people to buy into you around this place.
Got his first career touchdown tonight. The Giants take their first time out with 50 seconds and a first down at the 13-yard line.
They worked Victor Cruz off the double team in the slot last time for the touchdown.
On the ground, Bradshaw to the end zone, touchdown. Spread them out, keep it on the ground, 13 yards. And the Giants on their way to a 21-point lead. Giants tonight have already rushed for 96 yards. A team that was last in the league in rushing last year, going against that porous run defense at Green Bay. And the extra point by Tynes is good with 44 seconds left after it looked like the Packers had a chance to move down the field and make it a lot closer. It's 31-10.
Big time double team here, but watch the move by Ahmad Bradshaw. Watch this as he's going to give a little outside juke, set up the inside linebacker Brad Jones so that he tried to go over the top. Very clever play by a veteran running back. Sticks it in.
Osi Umenyiora created it. Forced fumble. Hits JPP in the helmet, and he winds up with the football for the recovery. And then go the Giants to the end zone.
It's a different looking Giants team, isn't it?
Very much so.
The bye week was very good to these guys. They came out fresh. They were energized. In practice, we watched them, and there was a real hop in their step. They were flying around out there. Eli was throwing it great. Boy, it is translated here tonight.
Giants enjoying it right now, and the Chicago Bears are certainly enjoying this game right now.
You know, even though the Packers got a win over the Lions, if you watch that one, you began to have a few doubts about their protection. Could they hold up against good pass rush teams? Aaron Rodgers took a lot of hits in that one, and now against another good pass rush team, it is a bit of a repeat.
Green Bay will get the ball. Rodgers will have 2 timeouts. It's a floating kick that's fielded at the 16 by one of the tight ends. That's DJ Williams. And we'll see if Rodgers can work his team into field goal range. The quarterback comparisons tonight. Yardage about the same. Rodgers has been sacked a lot this season, 3 more times tonight. But one of the big differences has been that Giant running game. 16 carries tonight, 96 rushing yards for New York.
I don't think we'll be hearing about Eli's tired arm tomorrow.
It's on the back burner until
next week.
Until he lose again. You know.
Exactly.
What else is new? From the 29.
Ready, go!
And over the middle, Cobb makes the catch. Tackled at the 34 by Roll.
So nice to have somebody with corner ability, corner speed that can play inside. Slot corner, slot receiver is becoming more and more important in the league.
2nd and 4 as Rodgers moves to his left and just has to get rid of the ball. And that was OCU Manura dogging him again. 3rd and 4.
Same exact deal. They're sliding to the right, leaving Marshall Newhouse one-on-one. He simply is not going to be able to do this. That time, OC with the spin move inside. I know they have to help elsewhere. And again, that's the key. When you have an issue on one side, somebody has to be able to block one-on-one. And right now, the Packers really don't have that bell cow as a tackle that can do that.
3rd and 4. And they'll just give the ball to Kuhn, and he'll take it out to the 42. And the Packers will, or the Giants are going to take a timeout, but why would they do that?
You know, I think what they were told to do was if it's 4th down,
Right.
you call the timeout, we'll take a shot at a punt block or a return. The players screwed it up.
Right, absolutely.
And called a timeout after they got the 1st down.
Right, so now they give the Packers one last chance at a Hail Mary when the Packers were prepared to run the clock out and go back to the locker room.
You know, sometimes, what's that game, Telephone, where it gets passed along to too many guys? And,
Right.
And they didn't quite get the full message on that one.
So if he so chooses, Rodgers has one shot to try to get the ball 58 yards into the end zone. Rolling, buying time, and then he just throws it away. Clock started late, and finally they tick it down to double zeros. Packers will get the second half kickoff. Boy, did the Giants need that bye week. 31-10. Toyota halftime show on the other side of the break. Second half ready to start at the Meadowlands. Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoya. Sunday Night Football. Giants with 96 rushing yards. Green Bay turned it over twice in the first half, and the Giants have a 21-point lead with Green Bay getting ready to receive the second half kickoff. 37 degrees, the game time temperature, probably down a couple from kickoff as Tynes will send it down toward Cobb. Giants had lost 2 straight coming in. Packers are on a 5-game winning streak roll. They're down by 3 touchdowns here as Cobb runs it back from the 2-yard line. Flag is thrown as he brings it back out to the 28-yard line.
During return, holding receiving team number 57. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jamari Lattimore as we go to Michelle.
Well, Mike McCarthy pretty unhappy at halftime, Al. He said, we're not playing physical enough for this matchup. We're not playing fundamental football. Mental errors on offense have changed the momentum of this game. And he said, we're going to get that straightened out right now. But if they do that, they're going to have to do it without starting defensive end C.J. Wilson. He is out for the rest of the game with a knee. As for Tom Coughlin, he likes his team energy, efficiency, effort. He said it to his team at halftime, 4 quarters. Let's go regain the respect of the football world. It's about us.
Thank you, Michelle. Pretty much expected the reaction to McCarthy. He's dead right in terms of his summation of his team's performance in the first half as Rodgers starts by throwing under pressure, tip, and then it winds up in the hands of the Packers as Jermichael Finley comes down with it. So a floating pass. Rodgers under pressure from Justin Tuck. Looked like the Giants would get a tipped interception. The next thing you know, the Packers have a first down.
Well, change up in coverage this time. This time they're going to let TJ Lang go one-on-one, and that was a train wreck. That's why they've been trying to help him all night. And so it really doesn't matter. When they slide one way, they can't handle it. When they slide the other way, they can't handle it. And for Aaron Rodgers, he better speed up the process.
Big break for Green Bay. Instead of starting with a turnover, first down at the 31-yard line.
False start, offense number 70. 5-yard penalty, first down.
TJ Lang, right tackle. Rodgers under pressure tonight, 3 sacks. 2 knockdowns. Remember the game in Seattle, the game that ended with the fail Mary pass. Week 3, sacked 8 times in the first half in that game.
Yeah, and has already tied Ben Roethlisberger now for the most sacks over the last 5 years. Of course, Ben's sitting out. But Aaron Rodgers, a great player. He finds ways to work around this.
1st and 15. Can't give up on the ground game just yet as Kuhn takes it to the 30-yard line. 2nd and 11 now.
You know, they really haven't gotten anything going to James Jones either, which surprises me because he's been out there working against Prince Amukamara, and that was really a big part of the plan in this one. Feeling like they could go after Amukamara a little bit, but really haven't even challenged him yet.
Haven't thrown one pass that I can recall to James Jones.
He leads the team in touchdowns
with 8. Rodgers throws, and the pass is behind Cobb and incomplete again. Pete put on him. 3rd down and 11.
Add one more dimension now. A little Jerron Hosley is going to come off the corner here. So now you finally get a little plan to try and block the interior guys. And they bring one more. I tell you, Perry Fuel's doing a nice job in this game. Every time that the Packers make an adjustment, he comes right back with another one.
Packers go 5 wide on 3rd and 11. 4-man rush. Rodgers runs into his own man and gets sacked at the 22-yard line. Kiwanuka will get credit for the sack.
We'll start with the coverage end of it. Here's Randall Cobb, and really no space in there. And unless the ball is thrown immediately, Aaron Rodgers has no chance. I mean, these pass rushers simply too good. They're just meeting at the quarterback right now. Marshall Newhouse doing the best he can to be the A player, but can't match up.
Ruben Randall is back to receive this kick, and he drops it at the 30-yard line and then is able to recover it to keep possession at the 31. 12:40 left in the 3rd quarter. Manning goes back to work with a 21-point lead. Archie Manning going over things with John Tisch and his boys. Well, Peyton's already won today. Eli has a 21-point lead.
Now, it's always an advantage to have your dad, a former NFL quarterback. Watch these throwing motions. Almost identical, tight. The ball doesn't dip down anywhere close to their waistline. No wasted motion whatsoever, and one of the reasons they've each won Super Bowls.
Archie's been here all week, enjoying New York over the Thanksgiving holidays, and watching his youngest son trying to get on track after the bye week, and so far so good. From the 31, Andre Brown is the running back. Gets bunched up after a gain of 1, and we check in once more with Michelle.
Well, starting right tackle David Deal, who left the game in the first half with a burner, is still on the sideline. Sean Locklear is in. I asked Coach Coughlin about it, and he shook his head and said it doesn't look good. So right now, Deal on the sideline with no helmet on, Al.
And there is David Locklear, as we said before, with a lot of experience. Came over after a number of seasons with the Seattle Seahawks. 2nd and 9 from the 32-yard line. Manning stepping away, and then Cruz has to reach down for it and tries to squirt his way for a 1st down and should have it.
I assume most people by now know what that means when you hear him say 50's the mic, 50's the mic. It just simply means that that's the added player that the offensive line is going to be responsible for. In that case, it was A.J. Hawk. So the offensive lineman would have picked him up if Brad Jones, the other linebacker, came. Then it would have been a responsibility of one of the backs.
And then when he says Omaha,
I got into that last year. I'm going to take a pass. That means hurry up, snap the ball.
A lot of guys use that these days. And Manning will throw going deep, and the pass is incomplete. It's Nix, and he's covered by Devon House. 2nd and 10.
Well, we've seen it so often that Akeem Nicks, when he gets out on the edge, he doesn't always have to win the battle because he's so big and so strong. He just goes up and makes plays in the air. It's like he never saw that ball. You could see his focus never found the football as it was coming down.
Use the mic. Hynoski sets up as the fullback, and it's a draw play, and this is Brown who comes close to picking up the first down. Burnett in on the stop. It'll be 3rd and 1.
It's great having big fullbacks that can make blocks like this. Henry Hynoski just one-on-one against A.J. Hawk. Little draw play, sets it up. Hynoski really finishes that one nicely.
It's a 3rd down and 1. There's Don Capers, the Packers defensive coordinator, who, with the injuries and all of the rest, has been forced to make a lot of chess moves. And tonight it's the Giants who are dominating as Brown takes the toss and gets stopped a little short of the first down. So the Giants will have a 4th and short at the 49-yard line.
Well, A.J. Hawk got beat on the last one, but not this one. Watch this play. He's going to shoot right in the gap and meet this play in the backfield and hangs on just enough. That's a big stop. They really needed that to be able to get the ball back after not being able to do anything with it the first time.
Steve Weatherford will punt, and Randall Cobb back at his 10-yard line. Calling for the fair catch, windmilling the right arm. Brings it in at the 9-yard line with 9:41 left in the third. 31-10 Giants. Jeff Saturday, 14th year in the league. First 13 with Indianapolis, and 12 of those with Peyton Manning, and free agent in the offseason. Thought about going to Denver. Peyton was trying to recruit him, but Green Bay closer to home, and he opted to go to the Packers. The mainstay in the middle of that line is Alex Green. Takes it up to the 14-yard line.
Well, we've been talking about this 3-safety look on the back end now that Kenny Phillips is back, and Antrell Roll has really been the key. All over Randall Cobb tonight in the slot. And then, of course, it was Corey Webster who jumped this one from the outside in, baited him a little bit. But I tell you, one of the first things I would do if I were a general manager is find a slot receiver and a slot corner, because so much of the game right now is that one-on-one battle, fist fight, whatever you want to call it. And right now, Antrell Roll's been winning it tonight.
So true. 2nd down and 5. And unable to get out of the backfield because Webster makes a nice play is Alex Green. It'll be 3rd down and 5, no gain.
Really nice play by Corey Webster. Avoids the pulling offensive lineman coming off the edge here. Ducks underneath TJ Lang and still able to make that tackle. I'll tell you, Corey Webster, after giving up that big pass play, has played a terrific game tonight. He's come back, got the interceptions. Like all good corners, you got to be able to forget.
Amnesia. 3rd and 5 from the 14. Rodgers flushed out. He'll run for it and slides to a stop with the first down at the Green Bay 26-yard line.
Well, we're seeing Aaron Rodgers now with some pump fakes, at least able to buy some time. But again, it's Antrell Roll one-on-one against Randall Cobb, who's been red hot lately. Roll able to take that look away, so Rodgers had to pull it down. One of the few times he's been able to escape. One of the things that Aaron Rodgers wanted to do was when in that slide protection, that gap that opens up to his left, to go up and out and still be able to throw it. We haven't seen him do that yet tonight.
Ready, go!
Rodgers throwing underneath and too low and incomplete, and Starks can't make the catch. 2nd and 10.
You know, they don't hit this, but it's not a bad idea. Chase Blackburn, the middle linebacker, had his back turned and running straight down the middle of the field. So because they've been having to keep some people in to help in pass protection, they're almost booking them now in coverage. So I think that's going to be a 1st down play they can come back to. Try and dump it off late.
Green this time has room. Flag is thrown. For the moment, he gets to the 36-yard line, but
offense number 83. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
It's Tom Crabtree for the hold instead of a first down. Second and long.
And it didn't even really look like it was totally necessary. Crabtree tried to take away the inside, and really Alex Green did a nice job reading it, but JPP, good lobbying effort. The official won the battle.
Dubious call. Good way to put it, lobbying.
Same time, you never know.
Made a contribution somewhere. Second and 20, the ball at the 15. And Chase Blackburn is in the middle of that as Alex Green takes it for about 3.
Do you find Blackburn to be quite as remarkable a story as I do? I mean, this guy is out of football. He's begging people to give him not a job, just a tryout. He's trying to go find anybody that'll give him a chance, and the Giants bought him in. Okay, we'll let you play a little special teams. Ends up the Super Bowl hero and really the heart and soul of this defense.
He was out of football. St. Louis wanted to work him out. Spagnuolo called him, and Steve was the head coach at St. Louis last year. Chase was changing diapers when the call came.
He was exhausted after the birth of his son.
Shows up in St. Louis, forgot to bring his cleats. That pass is incomplete as Cobb can't handle it. It'll be 4th and 17.
You know, I think they are getting frustrated with Cobb not being able to do anything inside, so now they've moved him outside and trying to take some shots with him out here, and he can't handle that football. So basically the play of Antrell Roll is taking Cobb out, and they're trying to make an adjustment to find some space for him.
Tim Mastay punting. Short kick. And Randall calls for the fair catch. The hand was up as he was coming in, and then there's all kinds of action at the 48-yard line. But as Randall was coming in, I thought his hand was up. The Giants are going to wind up with the ball, and then we'll have a little scrum here as well.
Well, that's 2 in a row he's put on the ground now, and got it back though.
Yep.
Again.
Giants still have the ball. In the break, indeed, it was a fair catch that was called for. He bobbled it, and you are protected to make the fair catch through the bobble. And the Giants wind up with the ball at the 47-yard line. So even though it got loose on the ground, the fair catch was called for. They had to give him room. The Giants have it at the 47, and the pass is caught. And this is Martellus Bennett who takes it to the 37-yard line. So we'll go back and take a look because he was moving forward. It was a short kick. You can see Randall there it was, a very fast fair catch signal. Then he begins to bobble it, and he's protected through the bobble. So he couldn't be contacted at that point by the Packers, but ball was loose, but that didn't matter.
Protected through the bobble.
It's something new every day. Ball at the 38-yard line. And Manning will throw, and that's caught by Nix, who spins away. There's a penalty on the play. For the moment, to the 8-yard line he goes. There's a flag back at the 32-yard line.
Illegal contact. Defense number 31. Penalties apply. First down.
So Devon House, the second-year corner, 30 yards on the play.
Straight man-to-man coverage, and the contact occurring after the 5 yards. So all that stuff they're going to call. But I tell you, for Akeem Nicks, this is a play. This is the way he typically made plays. Just so much effort, and you see A.J. Hawk and everybody trying to punch that ball out of there. But that's a nice looking play for a guy that could use one in Akeem Nicks.
4 catches for Nicks for 64 yards tonight. Back to the ground to Bradshaw. Flag at the 9-yard line.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense. 5 yard, half of this is a goal from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
And the beat goes on.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Daniels right over here trying to work against Sean Locklear. At the very end of this play, he's going to get his hands up underneath the face mask. And unfortunately, with officials standing in behind, you don't miss that. I tell you, you really get a sense in this game of how much they miss Clay Matthews as the anchor of this defense. There are just no splash plays out of anybody in this front seven so far.
First and goal from the 3. They hope to have Matthews back next week against Minnesota. Here's a fade, and it's incomplete. Intended for Nix. It'll be second down and goal.
You know, we've talked about Nix a lot tonight. There's Clay Matthews on the sideline, but you know, Nix is. They probably would have moved him inside because of all these injuries, but because they didn't feel confident in that another number 3 receiver, they're basically having to stay with him on the outside and just sort of live with this, with the injuries that he's had.
He's wide right. Cruz now in motion. Bradshaw. And Bradshaw with a flag thrown. You saw the flag come in at the end of the play.
Holding. Offense number 65. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
So left tackle will Beatty.
Working on Ryan Pickett, and again, you get your hands out on the edge, and they're going to see it. Gets his arm and hands out around that right shoulder pad, and sometimes, you know, we talk about passing lanes. Sometimes for the officials, it's viewing lanes, and that just happened to be the proper viewing lane.
Second and goal. The Giants, the 7th lowest in the red zone coming into tonight, but 4 for 4 in the red zone. So they've been perfect tonight. Trying to make it 5 for 5. Second down and goal with the ball at the 13-yard line. And Manning throws that one at the feet of Bradshaw. It'll be third down, 3rd and goal.
Yeah, it looks like Frank Zombo had that one sort of figured out. And Eli had it figured out that he had it figured out and just threw it down in the dirt. So it's not, you know, it's not that they're not well coached and they do all these things, but you know, we haven't seen tonight the ability of the Green Bay Packers to get into who they are defensively. You know, one of the top sack teams, but outside of Clay Matthews, nobody has more than 3 sacks. I mean, they send guys from the secondary and blitzing everywhere and doing all these things. And tonight, they haven't had a chance to do it. They haven't gotten into their style of defense.
Minus Woodson as well, minus Shields as well. 3 starters right there. The pass is caught, and the ball is loose at the goal line. Nix makes the catch, and the call will be down by contact inside the 1.
This is an interesting call because I'm not sure anything was on the ground when he reached out to do that. He sort of landed on top of the defender. Let's take a look. The tackle's made. He rolls around, is on. By the time his backside hits first, is the ball reached across the goal line there?
It's not ruled a touchdown on the field. The crowd, of course, is seeing the replay, which means it can be challenged. If it was a scoring play, then obviously it would go upstairs to begin with. But Coughlin wants to challenge it. Otherwise, it's going to be 4th down and goal. This is as close as it gets because as Nix is tackled, remember, anything but the hand or the foot. So the first thing that's going to go down is his left buttock. That'll be the first thing right there. Now, if they stop it right there, he has a touchdown because any part of the ball touches any part of the goal line, it's a touchdown. Here's McCauley.
After review, the ball crossed the plane of the goal line following the well-being line. Touchdown. 3 minutes, 36 seconds. New York is not charged with a timeout.
And that means that Coughlin doesn't have to call a 4th and goal play here. Nix, the first part of his body is the left buttock that touches the ground. and then any part of the ball reaches the front of the goal line, that's a touchdown. The whole goal line is part of the end zone.
You recall the conversation between Akeem Nicks and Victor Cruz that they had to pick it up. They had to get back to being the dynamic playmakers that they were in the past, and they certainly have.
200 career Giant touchdown passes, and to set a new Giant record, and Ty Sims has it by himself right now, and the Giants lead 38-10. Warren commercial, they put that up on the board. Crowd loves it. Eli at 200, Sims at 199, back to Charlie Connolly at 173, Fran Tarkenton and Y.A. Tittle rounding out the Giants' top 5 career touchdown passes. So Manning hadn't thrown one in 3 games, hadn't thrown one in 99 passes coming in. Some Giant fans were getting nervous the way the team was playing. Of course, after tonight now, the Jets can go back to owning the tabloids all week long, which I'm sure they're really thrilled about.
You know, I thought it was interesting. You were asking Akeem Nicks about whether Eli ever gets mad, and his answer was only at himself. You know, people don't understand the kind of competitor that Eli Manning is because he's so soft-spoken. But every day we see it in practice, just so competitive.
Holds himself to the highest standard. 4 yards into the end zone. This is Randall Cobb to the 26-yard line. And Sunday Night Football from East Rutherford, New Jersey, being brought to you by Walmart. More gifts, more Christmas from America's gift headquarters, Walmart. By AT&T, rethink possible. By Nissan, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites. And by Lenovo, the official desktop workstation and laptop provider for the NFL. Locker room, Vince Lombardi on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx. Of course, Vince with ties to both franchises. Started here and then made the big mark, obviously, at Green Bay as Alex Green gets taken down after no gain.
You know, I know they're going to have to try and do some things, but now they're starting to play some games up front. That time, O.C. Umenyiora jumps inside to try and cram up this running game, and Michael Boley goes outside. So they're really just doing whatever they want at will at this point.
Ready, go!
3 minutes left in the quarter. It was dumped off underneath. Green takes it out to the 40-yard line.
93. Ready, go!
Again, trying to dump it over the middle, a little shovel pass. That's incomplete for Green. 2nd down and 10. So the Packers looking so hot. We saw them in that Sunday night game against Houston on the 14th of October. Rodgers threw 6 touchdown passes on the roll, and tonight they run into the wall.
Yeah, but in that game, Houston tried to play a lot of single coverage. The Giants have not come out of this too deep safety look all night.
And Rodgers jostled. Down he goes at the 37-yard line. Matthias Kiwanuka.
Now we'll start on the outside. Here's Antrell Roll jamming Cobb again, then falling back underneath in coverage. That was pretty good protection that time, Alan. They just didn't have anybody open anywhere to throw the ball. You know, we haven't talked yet about some of the guys down the field, but this Stevie Brown has helped a ton on the back end and coverage too.
5 sacks for the Giants tonight. Rodgers has been sacked 37 times this season, and he's able to scramble away and then throws, and the ball is caught at the 37-yard line by Jermichael Finley. And Jason Pierre-Paul is down on his hands and knees, and so is Kenny Phillips. So 2 Giants are hurt at the moment. Both injured Giants back on the bench now. Kenny Phillips, who hadn't played since the end of September with the knee injury. Same knee there, wasn't contacted on the play. And then Jason Pierre-Paul was down for about a minute. He gets up and goes over to the sideline.
The tough part for Kenny Phillips was that he really wasn't contacted at all, just running across the field and then just stopped and sort of fell to the ground. And that's a big blow, because once they got back in this 3 safety look, they've been fantastic tonight.
Tyler Sash takes his spot in the secondary. On 1st and 10, ball is handed off to Alex Green to the 29-yard line. Sunday Night Football, the first Sunday of December. Next week, we go to Cowboys Stadium. It's Philadelphia against Dallas. Football night. This thing started at 7 Eastern time. Plenty to talk about.
Ready, go!
Eagles Cowboys next Sunday night. And Rodgers throws, and that's caught. And that's Jordy Nelson, who had a loud beginning but has been pretty silent since. Tackled there by Webster.
Just the pressure gets him. Going to get a little out and up move like this, and he's going to be open for a possible touchdown here. And because the pressure, Aaron Rodgers just unable to take advantage.
Nelson caught that 61-yard touchdown on the Packers' first quarter drive to tie the game, and that's his first catch since. Final minute of the quarter. And Rodgers' pass is low and incomplete. 2nd and 10.
You know, sometimes as a quarterback, when you've been under siege all night, you rush your delivery, and you could see Aaron sort of step up quickly and try and get that one out of his hands, almost anticipating some kind of pressure that just wasn't there.
5 sacks tonight, 37 this season in 10 3/4 games. And Rodgers has to flip it out of the side of his hand to the 18-yard line because Kiwanuka was in his face again. 3rd down.
Well, one thing the Giants have really done a nice job of tonight is not allowing him that escape lane. So many times when you slide your protection, the quarterback can step up and through. But more often than not, they've had somebody sitting right there, and Rodgers just hasn't been able to execute his personal game plan trying to get out.
End of 3, 38-10 Giants. Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Tonight's aerial coverage being brought to you by Geico. Al Michaels, Chris Collins, we're in the shelter for you. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford. After you looked at Manhattan on this chilly Sunday night, 3rd and 9 to start the 4th quarter for the Packers. A dump down to Green, and he gets taken down by Sash, well short of the 1st down.
I tell you who has their legs back is OCU Manura. We saw him in Philadelphia. Didn't look like he was running like that. He saw that one all the way and basically ran it down from behind.
They'll go for it. 28-point game, 4th down. From the 14. 4 Giants coming. Rodgers who throws. It's tipped by Blackburn and incomplete. Staying right with Jermichael Finley to bust it up and give the Giants the ball on downs. 38-10 in favor of the Super Bowl champions. Tom Coughlin, 60-7. Regular season when the Giants lead at the end of the 3rd quarter. Some of those leads have been 1 point. Tonight's lead is 28 points. Good chance to go to 61-7. From the 14-yard line. This is Andre Brown to the outside. And Brown a gain of 9. Tom Coughlin, the oldest coach in the league, still very much in possession of all of his faculties, wouldn't you say? Grandfather of 11.
Yeah, what did he say? He was telling Costas what he's got all these grandkids, and said 2 of them have some idea of what I do. You know, maybe a couple others on the edge there, but you know, he's a guy that I think's kind of grown with the game, don't you?
Absolutely.
You know, he was a guy that was very edgy all that Coughlin time, and he still is all that stuff. but you can tell the level of respect these players have for him. Of course, winning a couple Super Bowls and things like that happen, too.
It helps, 2nd and 1. And that's Andre Brown picking up the first down. Judy Coughlin, and Tom wrote that book, and that letter that he wrote to his wife. Well, when any wife sees that, she'll say to her husband, "Why don't you write me letters like that?"
Yeah, let's not publicize that too much.
He's a special man, though. He's a guy who was on the coaching staff here years ago. He actually coached in Green Bay for a couple of years, was the wide receivers coach a couple of decades ago. Then he was at Boston College, and of course went to Jacksonville when they came into the league.
He used to go head-to-head with Bill Belichick every day.
Right.
I bet you that was a show.
One of my favorite Coughlin stories, I told this in the past, but it's been a while, so it's kind of fresh right now, is when he's at Boston College and he comes back from lunch one day, and there's one of those pink calls from when you were gone, message sheets, and it's from somebody from something Jaguar, and he thinks it's a guy trying to sell him a Jaguar. Turns out to be from the guy who was at that point putting the Jaguars operation together, and that led to Tom getting the Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching job.
And you wonder what they think now, seeing all the success he's had since he left there.
I just wonder if he drives a Jaguar. 2nd and 11. Pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 11. Aligning the stars for the Giants. So Manning with those 3 touchdown passes. Giants have had a good ground game going with Bradshaw tonight, 58 plus 61 through the air, and Hakeem Nicks with a touchdown and 5 grabs.
You know, and that's the difference. The Green Bay Packers don't have any other way to win a football game. You know, it's been 37 games since they've had a 100-yard rusher. So if their passing game or their protection is not working out, you end up with this.
Manning will sling it on 3rd and long, and Victor Cruz makes the catch at the 43-yard line. It'll be a first down for New York.
The feeling was that if they didn't get these 2 guys going again, it was going to be a long time, long night. There's Victor Cruz working back inside. Saw him drop the first one, but since then, he and Nicks have been back to form. Boy, what a year this guy had. I tell you, the play he made last year against the Jets to turn the Giants season and to win that game off the goal line was among the greatest catches and runs I think I've ever seen. To catch that one, make both guys miss and score was remarkable.
And a little back shoulder. Crowd wants a flag. So does Nicks. There is none. 2nd and 10.
You know, the one good thing for the Green Bay Packers, though, you look for a little silver lining here, they are developing a lot of young talent in this secondary. They drafted 6 guys back there. There's Charles Woodson, who should be back sometime soon as well. A couple of weeks from now should be returning. And, you know, hopefully you get Clay Matthews back. But a lot of these young guys are getting a lot of experience right now. McMillan and Richardson and Casey Hayward and Von House. Maybe a little stretch run for them on defense.
Brown to the 42-yard line. Let's go to Michelle.
Hey guys, I spoke to Charles Woodson before the game, asked him what his prognosis was. He said, right now, I just don't want to rush it. I don't want to rush back. He said he feels good and everything's going according to plan, but not rushing it.
Not rushing it right now is M.D. Jennings, who's down on the ground for Green Bay. When we went to commercial, we saw M.D. Jennings down on the ground, but he got up and went back to the Green Bay bench. But taking the worst of it in that collision there, and that tackle is Andre Brown. Watch this, and you see him trying to walk it off on the Giants bench. Got tangled up underneath. Check on him in a second. The ball at the 42. David Wilson now comes in as the running back. The rookie #1 draft choice. To the 39 he goes. Gain of 3, 2nd down and 7.
And they would really love to play David Wilson more. You know, you watch this kid in practice, and it's like a blur. He's flying around out there. but at 5'9", 205, he still has issues with pass protection. Not necessarily physically holding up, just mentally trying to figure it all out. You know, it's probably the least understood part of the National Football League is how complex blitz pickup is for running backs in this league, and very seldom do rookie running backs get it in their first year.
Manning will throw, and that'll be taken out in the flat by Wilson. The other thing he has to be careful about, obviously, is holding on to the football. We saw him on opening night, the first game of the season, the Wednesday nighter against Dallas. Put him in the game early, fumbled early, and didn't see very much from the rest of the night.
But this team could really use an explosive weapon, you know, somebody that could just give them an instant burst, a big play, a screen, something that they could take off for 30, 40 yards and down the field. This guy has that. He definitely has that, but it's a trust level that they just don't have yet. So when they play him, they usually play him on first and second down, not on third down passing plays.
3rd and 2, cuts it back, but gets tackled at the 35-yard line by Ryan Pickett. 4th and 2 now.
I'll tell you the other guy that's impressed me a little bit for the Giants tonight is Martellus Bennett. We talked about him a bit earlier, but he's run a couple of really clean routes where he really understood what the zone defense was trying to do to him, turned around decisive. I'm going to go for it.
4th and 2 from just inside the 35-yard line. And Eli will convert, and almost on cue, one Martellus Bennett tossing a souvenir into the stands. First down for the Giants.
Well, he works hard to get to the outside edge here of McMillan. Watch him. He's not going to be willing to give him a heads-up kind of thing. And once he got to that edge, Eli knew exactly what he was going to be able to do and hit him in stride. It's that sort of little detail. You know, it's not always the how fast you run, how high you jump, all that kind of stuff that people want to talk about at the combine all the time. It's understanding within the scheme of the offense what Eli's looking for, and that was perfect.
Giants have scored every time they've been in the red zone tonight. They're 5 for 5. Can they make it 6 for 6? As the carry by Wilson takes it to the 15. There's only one team in the league that's been 5 for 5 in the red zone in any game this year. The Jets against Indianapolis.
Wasn't the other night.
No, it wasn't. It was the dead zone the other night.
Well, it happens, you know, and you're this time of year, and you know, you just see a few of them anymore. I tell you, the thing I see more than anything out is if teams can hold their offensive line together and not have key injuries, that seems to be what destroys teams faster than anything.
Watch it start. 5-18.
Wilson. Got 3 more. Well, we saw Ted Thompson before, the GM of the Packers, and there's Jerry Reese, another guy who you don't read a lot about or see a lot. He would be the antithesis of attention-starved, but he has done a heck of a job as the Giants' major domo in terms of compiling and constructing and revamping this roster.
I remember when they drafted Jason Pierre-Paul, and everybody said, "What? Another pass rusher? What are they doing?" Worked out all right.
3rd down and 5 from the 13-yard line. And Eli, with that play clock going all the way down, takes a timeout. 6.5 to go, and the Giants well on their way to a win. Season in New York, always special. Not for the Green Bay Packers, though, on this Thanksgiving weekend, as the Giants lead it by 28, have a 3rd and 5 at the 13-yard line. And Manning will throw, and the pass is incomplete. And taking a shot was Bennett, and a flag comes in with the hit at the end of the play. So that would have made it Green Bay ball, but instead we're going to assume it's the late hit on
Personal
McMillan.
foul, unnecessary roughness, hit on a defenseless player. Defense, number 22.
It's the rookie McMillan out of the University of Maine.
come into the post in the NFL. I think they're going to get a, looks like is that a helmet-to-helmet shot here? Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. You know, you try and convince the players, but it's you know, it's like he's still smiling a little bit, so that's hopefully a good sign. It's a tough transition, isn't it? The league's trying to bring the safety in, and sometimes it takes money out of the pocket to start changing things.
On 1st and goal from the 6. And the pass is incomplete, intended for Nix. Devon House staying right with him. It'll make it 2nd down and goal.
Give Devon House some credit. They have tried that play a bunch and trying to get it going. Eli would love, even in this kind of a game, to begin to feel like he had some timing, because Nix has always been lethal on that jump ball situation in the corner of the end zone. But so far tonight, Devon House has owned it.
And this is Wilson. Stop at the 5-yard line. So the Packers are going to be a game back of Chicago after the Bears win today. And as you can see, you've got 4 of the remaining 5 games for Green Bay are inside that division. 2 in Minnesota, 1 with Detroit, and then they go to Chicago on December 16th. And they have already beaten the Bears, so assuming they stay 1 back and win that game, they would own the tiebreak.
I'll tell you what sticks out to me on that schedule. Every one of those teams have tremendous pass rushers, and that is going to be the challenge.
16th play of the drive, and this is Wilson who's going to take it to the 1-yard line, and it's going to make it 4th down. So 4th and goal. Of course, the buzz begins to build in the crowd because not quite over. Not quite. If you know what I mean on that.
I'm trying not to go down every alley that you try and take me down.
No lights in this one. They throw a pass that gets knocked down, but a flag is thrown. Devon House is there with Nix. Pass was deflected. Now what? If it's tipped, there can't be interference. So thus you've got
the ball was definitely tipped.
Yep, no question.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. The ball is tipped. 1st down, Green Bay. Timeout.
Underwhelming, but the ball goes back to the Packers. Well, Aaron Rodgers had been on a real hot streak, beginning with that Sunday night game in Houston, but comes to an end tonight, sacked 5 times. 14 of 25 for 219. Graham Harrell, the backup quarterback, will take over the rest of the way with the ball at the 2-yard line. 3 backs in the backfield. And Kuhn will take the ball out to the 6-yard line.
You know, we talked about the offensive line having some issues, but defensively for the Giants, there's been some times there's been good protection and there's a coverage sack. You can see Rodgers looking right, looking left, find one on either side. Again, solid protection here. Looks right, doesn't like it, has to come back the other way. Can't find it, then the sack. So it has been a combination of getting beat at the line of scrimmage and getting beat down the field.
2nd and 5, and they give it to Starks. Past the 10-yard line. Harrell, 27 years old. He was undrafted. A Texan, played his college ball at Texas Tech and played in the Canadian League in 2009 with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and came to Green Bay in 2010. So doesn't play very much, but somewhere at home in a safe deposit box is a Super Bowl ring.
If Aaron Rodgers keeps getting hit like this, Just don't know.
You want to spot it? Smart. 52.
3rd and 1 from the 11.
Green 19. Green 19.
And Starks will take the ball out to the 16. 3.5 left, then we go to Michelle again.
Well, Kenny Phillips, the Giants safety, you know, he came into this game with that 6-game streak of not playing because of a sprained right MCL. They decided to sit him for the rest of the night, Al, because they reevaluated that knee. Also, running back Andre Brown, who limped off the field earlier, he went back and he's getting x-rays on his lower left leg. No results yet, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. We saw that Brown trying to walk around, and both could be very significant down the stretch for the Giants, who next play a week from tomorrow at the Redskins. Taking this one up to the 21-yard line is Alex Green.
How about RG3 the other day in that game? That young man is going to be something, isn't he?
Well, in a span of 5 days, the Washington Redskins put themselves back into the playoff picture with 2 wins. And they and the Cowboys are each 5-6. The Giants will go to 7-4. So the Giants will have a 2-game lead in the NFC East.
Green 19. Green.
And this is Starks. And he gets taken down by Hill. 2-minute warnings coming. The Giants have some tough games ahead, though. They go to D.C., and then they've got road games down the stretch, both in Baltimore and Atlanta. Won't be easy. 2-minute warning, but this one's been pretty easy. 38-10, New York. Up this week with Jay Leno on The Tonight Show. We welcome Julie Bowen, and Jim Parsons, and Marissa Tomei, and the voices Blake Shelton. And others. Tonight Show, Jay Leno all this week right here on NBC.
Blake Shelton, country music entertainer of the year, man. Randall Lambert, his wife. That's some combo right there.
Harrell will attempt to launch one, then checks it down to Kuhn. 11-yard gain and a first down. And coming up right after the game, it'll be the Wendy's post-game report. Michelle down in the field with an interview. Bob, Tony, and Mike breaking it all down, looking at league news. And Chris and I will take a look ahead to a week from tonight down there in Texas with the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yeah, this game's been pretty remarkable from a defensive standpoint. Perry Fuel's bunch on that side gave up the one long pass play to Jordy Nelson early on, and that was it. I mean, it has been 3 points since that one big play.
Green 19. Green 19.
Starks up to the 45. So the Giants talking about their remaining games. A week from tomorrow night at Washington. Then New Orleans comes in here. Then 2 tough ones at Atlanta and at Baltimore. And you can see the records of those 2 teams. And then their final game of the season here against the Philadelphia Eagles.
But you can't underestimate the significance of this win. I mean, this is a tough opponent on a big winning streak. You're not playing well. It's beginning to look like maybe the division is going to be packed in together, and they come in and blow out the Packers.
Yep. Unexpectedly. Figured to be a much closer game.
A lot of game balls to pass around for the Giants, but I thought the best news for them tonight was the fact that this offensive line looked like the Giants' offensive line again. They struggled against the Cincinnati Bengals, got healthy, I guess, during the bye week, got the running game going. O.C.U. Manura had a nice night tonight, big sack fumble. But the big guys up front are really the difference from beginning to end. Almost no pressure on Eli all night.
Right, only 1 sack, had plenty of time, and that running game was big. 148 yards and averaging almost 5 yards a carry for the Giants. And that pass is incomplete, intended for D.J. Williams. Playoff picture right now as we begin to wind down. End of November here. Falcons are 10-1, winning today. 49ers go to New Orleans and win today. Bears go to 8-3 after routing Minnesota. And then there are the Giants. You've got Green Bay and Seattle at the moment would be the wild cards. Seattle by virtue of the tiebreak. Tampa Bay and Minnesota also 6-5. Washington, New Orleans, and Dallas still in the picture. And Mastay will send this punt out of bounds. With 13 seconds left. One play will do it, and the Giants will snap that little 2-game slide, and will have snapped Green Bay's 5-game winning streak.
The NFL, occasionally you just have to burn the tape. You know, this is one of those nights. They were no match. I think the big issue for the Packers, you know, they're on their third tackles now. Don't forget, Brian Bulaga, of course, out, but Derek Sherrod, the #1 pick from a year ago, out as well. So they're having to move guards to tackles, and you know, you hope that it keeps getting better as they go along. But so much of Aaron Rodgers' success is the ability to get 5 receivers out, and the more they have to help in pass protection, the more their offense looks different.
Game ends in the victory formation for the New York Giants, who go to 7-4. Same record that the Packers will now have, as the Giants dominate 38-10, the final score. The Wendy's post-game report coming right up.